Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, let me begin with a thank you. I'm really grateful to the organizers for the invitation to speak and for the chance to present the Polish space sector here in Athens. It's a special pleasure because Poland and Greece are not strangers in this field. As I hope to show you in the next few minutes, we are already partners in orbit. Now, every Pole who talks about space eventually mentions one name, Nicolaus Copernicus. In 1543, he published on the revolutions of the celestial spheres and moved the Earth out of the center of the universe. But I'm standing in Greece, so let me admit something we Poles do not always say loudly enough. Copernicus finished an argument that a Greek had started. Almost 18 centuries earlier, Aristarchus of Samos had already dared to put the sun at the center. So the heliocentric model is, in a sense, a Greek-Polish co-production. Copernicus was in no hurry. He only allowed his book to be printed as he lay dying. It then took 482 years to reach the stars. In June 2025, the second Polish astronaut carried a page of it to the International Space Station. The manuscript that reordered the heavens had finally reached orbit. That astronaut was Sławomir Uznański-Wiśniewski, an engineer who spent more than a decade at CERN before joining the European Space Agency. He was only the second Pole ever to reach space. The first was Mirosław Hermaszewski, who flew in 1978 aboard Soviet Soyuz when Poland became the fourth nation on Earth to send a citizen into orbit. Look at the distance between those two flights. Not only 47 years, but two different worlds. Hermaszewski flew as a guest on someone else's rocket in someone else's program. Uznański-Wiśniewski flew on a commercial mission on SpaceX vehicle running 13 experiments designed by Polish companies and universities. Under a mission we named Ignis, Fire. Those two flights are the bookends of Poland's transformation, from passenger to participant, from symbol to industry. And that industry now is real. Today, the Polish space sector counts around 400 companies and research institutions, employing roughly 15,000 people. More than 70 firms belong to our Space Employers Union. Between 2012 and 2026, Polish entities placed more than 20 satellites in orbit. We have genuine champions. Krotec Instrument, listed on the Warsaw Stock Exchange, is our largest satellite integrator. Claude Ferro runs one of Europe's leading platforms for Copernicus Earth observation data. Scanway builds space optics and telescopes. KP Labs put artificial intelligence on board satellites. SatRev specializes in nanosatellites, and Sener Polska supplies precision mechanism for European missions. Maybe not a huge sector, but a serious one. When did this happen? The turning point was 2012, the year Poland joined the European Space Agency. Membership gave our companies access to contracts, to standards, and to confidence that comes from working inside major European missions. Three forces have driven the growth ever since. Our expanding role in ESA, European Union programs such as Copernicus and Galileo, and more recently, security and defense. Because since 2022, the strategic value of being able to look down at the Earth has become very clear to everyone in our part of continent. On ESA specifically, Our participation has grown from modest beginnings to a record commitment of more than 730 million euro to ESA program. Polish companies contribute to the Copernicus Sentinel satellites, to components for the Ariane rockets, and to on-orbit technologies, including AI systems that process data on the satellite itself before sending it home. And ESA and Poland have now agreed to establish a new ESA center on Polish soil, a milestone for our whole ecosystem. How is all of this held together? At the center sits the Polish Space Agency, Polsa, created in 2014 and headquartered in Gdańsk. Polsa supports our industry, represents Poland at ESA and in the EU institutions, promotes our companies abroad, runs education program, and increasingly leads on space security. Since April of this year, Poland also has, for the first time, a comprehensive space activity law with licensing system and a national register of space objects. And the government is now preparing a new strategy for the development of the Polish space sector, with one clear ambition: to place Poland among Europe's leading space technology nations within 5 years. Our science runs deep. The Space Research Center of the Polish Academy of Sciences has been building instruments for space missions for nearly half a century. Alongside it stands the Copernicus Astronomical Center, the Łukasiewicz Institute of Aviation, the Military University of Technology, and the Space Technology Park in Zielona Góra. Now let me turn to what matters most for this room. Because Poland's space story already runs through Greece. Earlier this year in Dubrovnik, Krotec Instruments signed a letter of intent to build a shared Earth observation capability across the 3 sea regions: Poland, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Greece. The idea is elegant. Each country's satellites can take images for the others, and our ground stations can serve as one another backup. On the Greek side, the partners include Geosystem Hellas, and I'm glad to say the Hellenic Association of Space Industry, the cause of this very forum. So our companies are not meeting for the first time today. We are already signatories on the same page. But the relationships runs deeper, and it's very direct. Krotec already works hand in hand with Greek companies, Geosystem Hellas among them, inside several ESA and Horizon Europe projects, including Harmonia, Ocean Needs, and TEA. Building on that record, Krotec has signed a letter of intent with those same 2 Greek partners, Geosystem Hellas and the Hellenic Association of Space Industry, to develop an international satellite constellation together. And it is in talks with HellasSat on a joint project to demonstrate optical communication between satellites on different orbits. Krotec belongs to a consortium under LCAC, the Hellenic Center for Defense Innovation, working with Greek companies to expand radar Earth observation capabilities, not only for Poland and Greece, but for Europe as a whole. Krotec is ready to invest in joint ventures with Greece to supply satellites for defense needs under the European SAFE program, and crucially, to set up a factory here that would employ local Greek talent. And there is ISAI. ISAI was founded and is led by a Polish engineer. It is headquartered in Finland, with major operation in Poland, and it runs the largest radar satellite constellation in the world. Here in Greece, ISAI is a core partner in your national small satellite program. It delivered the first 2 operational satellites of that program, launched last November. And it has opened a facility in Athens that will assemble satellites from the ground up. So let me finish where I began. Aristarchus of Samos imagined the sun and the center. Copernicus proved him right. And last year, a page of this proof rode into orbit above our heads, from a Greek idea to a Polish book to a shared constellation. The history of European space has always been a history of cooperation. Poland is proud to write its next chapter together with Greece. Thank you. Evcharisto.